Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the OTT.X Wednesday webinar series. On behalf of all of us at OTT.X, I want to thank you for joining us today to the series where we bring you insightful, thought-provoking presentations across a broad spectrum of OTT-related topics from thought leaders across our industry. Today, we're fortunate to have with us Srini, one of the co-founders of Amagi, a technology pioneer and leader enabling TV networks and content owners to launch, manage, distribute, and monetize live, linear, and on-demand channels across cable, OTT, and free ad-supported TV platforms worldwide. Srini is a technology entrepreneur with two decades of experience in building innovative products and solutions, taking them to global markets. At Amagi, Srini heads the Americas region, responsible for revenue growth, customer engagement, and regional operations. In his earlier roles, Srini led Amagi's geo-targeted TV advertising division in India, which eventually became one of the largest ad networks. As an established OTT and cloud technology evangelist, Srini regularly speaks at marquee broadcast events like this one about how cloud technologies can reinvent video entertainment and advertising. His presentation today, entitled Ace Your Fast Content Distribution Strategy, Srini will share valuable insights about reaching a bigger and broader audience across free ad-supported platforms as audiences are increasingly embracing these formats to balance their love of engaging content with the desire to manage costs. So with that, turn it over to Srini to get things kicked off. Srini, welcome.
Thank you, Eric. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to talk to the team and present about what's happening with FAST and how you can ace your FAST distribution strategy. Without much ado, let me share my screen. As Eric mentioned, I'm Srini, one of the co-founders of Amagi, the leading media technology SaaS platform to help you create, manage, distribute, and monetize your content across broadcast and OTT. For those of you that are not too familiar with Amagi, we work with 100+ platforms, 500+ content brands, and deliver it across 40+ countries, the largest in the FAST space in terms of helping to create and distribute channels within the FAST ecosystem. We also work with a number of traditional broadcasters and cable networks to help move their broadcast workflows and cable workflows to the cloud. So just a very, very brief dive into what exactly we do. As I mentioned, we work with sports, news networks, entertainment television networks, content owners who have great content, either as a content library, or like a movie studio or a production house, or could be producing great content for social media. We work with all of these content owners, help them take their content and monetize it across multiple platforms. That could be, it could be a direct-to-consumer OTT platform. It could be a broadcast television, cable, satellite platform. Could be a third-party fast distribution platform on connected TV devices. Across all of these, we help distribute it as well as monetize it through dynamic ad insertion where it makes sense. We do more than 2,000 channel deliveries today, working with 800+ playout chains for across 500+ content brands, and doing about 20 billion ad impressions. So I have a fairly good view of the industry, specifically on the FAST space. And we do this across live, linear, and VOD content. Briefly, these are some of the customers that we actually work with on the broadcast and network side. We work with traditional broadcasters like A&E, Discovery, beIN Sports, Tegna, NBC, and PBS, as well as Fox and Warner Media. Work with a number of new age content owners like Fubo TV, the tennis channel, Condé Nast, People TV, Pocket Watch, and USA Today, to name a few, across sports, lifestyle, TV, documentary, kids, movies, news, and international content as well, whether it's Spanish, German, French, or other languages. We also work with a number of content aggregators or fast platforms, whether these are device vendors like Samsung, TV Plus, Vizio, Watch Free, the Roku channel, or could be apps like Pluto TV, Zumo TV, or Plex TV in terms of distributing these channels, as well as helping some of these content aggregators to create their owned and operated channels and do dynamic ad insertion within their channels. So essentially work across the entire segment, broadcast, content owners, streaming TV content owners, and content aggregators to help, bring together the entire ecosystem, providing technology across channel creation, distribution, and monetization for our customers. So pretty much, given the play that we have in terms of, providing tech stack across all of these three, we are at the center of the fast revolution, have a good bird's eye view of, hey, what's happening, what's working, and what's not working. So the intent of this webinar is primarily to share some of our learnings and some of the key learnings our customers have gone through. Hopefully that would help participants and viewers here to know what works and what does not. So before we get started on specific learnings, I would like to first introduce what is FAST. I've been talking about this whole FAST ecosystem and fast growth. What's FAST? FAST is primarily free ad-supported streaming TV. What does that mean? It's kind of a subset of AVOD, if you will. Just that, in case of AVOD, you typically have content that is on demand, where the consumer or the viewer can search, can type in, look for certain content and start watching it on demand. Fast platforms is pretty much providing the same or similar free content, but presenting it as a pre-programmed linear 24/7 channel. Think of it like a traditional cable dial experience. You turn on the app, or you turn on the TV, click on the app, you will see a bunch of channels, ready-made, pre-curated linear channels available to you that you can flip through and watch for free on your connected TV device. So going back to the traditional TV experience, looking at a lean back experience as opposed to a lean forward on-demand experience, pre-curated, hopefully by experts that actually produce the content and served with ads so that you get it completely for free. That's essentially FAST. FAST is packaging what content as linear, continuous stream of channels that you can watch, flip through like your traditional cable TV without paying anything. That's, in a nutshell, what FAST is. And what's interesting is that, audiences are starting to, embrace these. If you had asked anybody in the industry 3 or 4 years back, is anybody going to be watching linear? People are saying, hey, linear is dead. Everybody is moving towards an on-demand world. Why would anybody watch linear channel? And, subscription was was really going big with Netflix and, Amazon Prime and, a whole bunch of other SVOD platforms coming up a couple of years back or 2 or 3 years back. What has changed over the last 3 years? What is, what we are seeing as a trend is, one, there is subscription fatigue. You have the big brands, you have the Netflixes, the Disney Pluses, and the HBO Maxes of the world, if you will, right? So where, there is a decent amount of, monthly subscription monies that you're paying, one. Two, that means that I'm not going to, spend far too much on every possible channel content that I want to watch. And two, with the on-demand world, across all of these SVOD or even AVOD platforms, content discovery is a pain, right? All of us have seen reports, all of us have personally experienced where we spend the 15, 30, 45 minutes searching on Netflix or searching on some of these SVOD devices, SVOD apps to find the content that we want to watch. A lot of times, while we would love to watch on-demand content from these, We would also want a lean back experience where we come back after a long day's work. We just want to turn on the TV, completely be like a dead vegetable, just keep watching what's there. Hopefully somebody's curated it for us, and we hopefully serendipitously discover some great content, right? So that's essentially is what has given rise to FAST, essentially going back to the basics, back to the traditional TV experience. That's what FAST provides, combined with the fact that, hey, unlike the traditional linear TV, I'm not paying for it. I'm getting great content without having to spend for it. So that's essentially driving growth of these FAST models. As per the 2021 Deloitte report on digital media trends, 47% of US audiences today are watching FAST channels, right, across a number of FAST platforms. That's phenomenal for an industry that did not exist 3 years back. So this has been a phenomenal growth, and we're continuing to see dramatic growth year on year. And certainly a large number of audiences, 65% of the viewers, are open to ad-supported options beyond just subscription, right? As we get into this whole, hey, I've watched pretty much every show that I want to watch on Netflix, right? There are only a handful of shows that are getting released new. I want to go back and look at, hey, what else is out there? I want to watch more, millennial targeted content. I want to watch, content that's fresh, that's not available on some of these SWOT devices. That's driving a lot of this AWOD and FAST growth in general. We recently released an Amagi FAST report that provides some really interesting snippets in terms of data that we have actually collected as the largest provider of FAST technology. We have seen across, taking a sample of 650 channels in the US, we have seen 37% growth in terms of daily viewership hours just between Jan to June. That's a phenomenal growth in just 6 months that we have seen, and it's continuing to grow month on month. So I think FAST provides a fantastic opportunity for content owners to leverage the trend of increasing viewership, more connected TVs being sold, more viewers coming online, and millennial audience looking for subscription-free, ad-supported, content, great content. And clearly, some of the big brands, big media brands are embracing, they're betting big on FAST. All of us have seen some of the announcements over the last couple of years, whether it's Comcast acquiring Zumo for more than $100 million, Viacom CBS acquiring Pluto TV, and that's been growing at a phenomenal rate. You've seen the $1 billion number from some of the recent earnings reports. NBC Universal launching Peacock, Fox acquiring Tubi for $490 million. So again, clear trend in terms of, hey, big brands are getting, betting really, really big in terms of these FAST services and wanting to grow. And this industry is set to grow substantially more. And that's just not it, right? I mean, if you look at just the FAST platform aggregator universe, you are seeing tons of aggregators that are providing these, FAST options for our customers, whether it is, device vendors like Samsung, LG, Roku, Vizio, or, Amazon, whether it is content owners like Peacock, that is actually providing FAST channels, whether it's cable telcos like Xfinity Flex that is actually providing, or just app vendors like the Plutos and the Zumos of the world, right? You're seeing tons of different options coming along where viewers, as an end consumer, now I get access to these free ad-supported streaming TV channels on pretty much every TV set, every connected TV device, as an app, as an integrated platform experience, and I can watch hundreds, if not thousands of channels on these. Again, extremely easy user experience, something that I'm familiar with TV, where I'm actually flipping on, flicking through channels, finding what I want to watch. I'm not searching, spending hours trying to get what I want, and providing fantastic user experience in terms of being able to discover and great availability. And this is growing by the day. I mean, we're seeing, a new FAST platform launch pretty much every other week today. And when you think about these fast services, there are different types of fast services, as we talked about, right? There are apps that are available across multiple platforms. You have Pluto and Zumo and Peacock and Roku, for example, Roku channel, for instance, that are available across multiple operating systems, multiple devices where you can actually watch these. And there are device-specific fast platforms like the LG channels, Samsung TV Plus, Vizio Watch Free, that are available primarily in those devices. When you actually buy any of those connected TV devices, you get them by default. You turn on the TV, you see the app front and center, you click on that, bang, you suddenly start seeing content. You can watch fast content. Again, as Roku very nicely put it, many of these aggregators are moving from an app first world to a content first world. Instead of, as an end user, I don't need to go find an app, download an app, install the app, click on the app to watch that. I open the single app called the Roku channel or a Vizio Watch Free or a Samsung TV Plus. I get all the content that I want to watch in that single app. So that's pretty much, is a huge trend that we are seeing, moving away from, an app first where there are thousands and thousands of apps to one single app that is aggregating all the content in a single place. Pretty much these are kind of substituting the traditional cable channels or the cable MVPDs to some extent, just with a free option. On the channels, on the fast services, we are seeing a variety of content: entertainment, local news, network news, sports, special interest content. So you name it, right? Hey, you are a golf fan, you'll have a channel specifically dedicated for golf. You're interested in poker, you have dedicated channel for poker. You want kids, you want music, you want Latino music, you want hip hop, you want specific motor racing, right? You pick and choose any area of interest that you have. You have fantastic content available across every one of these genres. Just within lifestyle entertainment, food, travel, talk shows, lifestyle, do it yourself, homes, right? Name it, right? You'll have fantastic content that is now available on these fast services. And what's also interesting is that some of these fast aggregators are, have platform exclusive channels. For example, Pluto TV has a whole bunch of channels that are exclusively available on Pluto. You see tons of exclusive channels on Samsung, for example, or Vizio, or many of these that actually are providing some, content that's not available on any other platforms. And then you have these networks that are available across all platforms. You want to watch Tastemade, you would see that across pretty much every single platform that's out there. So you're seeing interesting business models and ways at which different platforms and different content owners are approaching these fast platforms and services. So on the content side, right, we briefly talked about this, right? Again, we talked about the number of content, the platforms that are available, right? Again, what we saw clearly where device vendors creating these platform aggregation play, folks like Samsung and Roku and Vizio creating these fast platforms. We saw content owners creating their own platforms like Peacock. We saw cable providers like Sling and Xfinity Flex creating aggregating platforms. We also saw some interesting niche plays, right? Niche players like Sports Tribal, Fanities that are doing sports specific fast aggregation. We are seeing news aggregators that are aggregating only news channels. We are seeing kids aggregators that are aggregating only kids channels. So we are seeing a plethora of platforms that are targeting different types of audiences. Some targeting sports audiences, news audiences, cable audiences, millennial audiences, and so on and so forth. That's on the platform side. On the content owner side, again, we are seeing a very interesting mix, right? There are companies like traditional news networks and station groups. You want to watch ABC News, you want to watch NBC News Now, You want to watch, the Sinclair local news, many of the local news stations from Sinclair, or many of the or Estrella, or Fox. You want to watch some great content from traditional media publications like Condé Nast, People TV, USA Today. You want to watch content that's been on great content that has phenomenal following on Facebook and Snap and Instagram and YouTube. Folks like Tastemade, Team Whistle Sports, that are actually bringing some of that content as linear channels on connected TV devices. Srinivasan recently announced the Elvis Presley channel. So you're getting some really interesting deep fan content, engaging content that was not available on broadcast, now suddenly becoming available through these fast channels, some of them targeting millennials, some of them targeting people that have been watching traditional news. And sports, you're seeing a variety of sports rights owners, Fubo TV, Pac-12, beIN Sports, Tennis Channel, name it, right? So across pretty much a variety of sports, you're seeing content that is being available on FAST. Again, what has changed over the last couple of years from a FAST perspective, as a lot of ad dollars started shifting from traditional TV into these FAST or these OTT or connected TV viewing, we are starting to see tons of more premium content, live soccer, high premium live soccer being broadcasted on FAST. You get PGA golf tours, or you get fantastic tennis tournaments, right, that are top of the line being available through FAST. Similarly, in terms of movie content, TV content that are first trend content that is actually coming and becoming available on FAST. So this is creating essentially a flywheel effect. More viewers are watching FAST, more ad dollars shifting into these FAST space, and hence more content being produced specifically for FAST, or more content being licensed or shifting from cable TV into FAST. We recently saw El Rey announcing shutting down of their cable channel and moving into FAST. We see a number of cable channels, Fuse TV, for instance. We see a number of broadcast channels, Buzzer Fremantle, a whole bunch of Diginets broadcast channels that are available on FAST now. Again, as per the Amagi FAST report, we saw just between Jan and June, we saw 29% growth in terms of the number of channels that were available on FAST that were not there just the previous 6 months, right? So growing at a really, really fast pace, a number of new linear channels are getting launched pretty much on a monthly basis across all of these. Talking about the data there, we're seeing some really interesting data points here, right? So what's driving many of this fast viewership and growth? First and foremost, it's primarily driven by CTV growth. CTV stands for connected TV or smart TV. We are seeing that CTVs are growing at a really, really, really fast pace. There was 157% growth in smart TV viewership in the fourth quarter of 2020. That's phenomenal. 17% of overall TV viewership happened on smart TV during that quarter, right? That's a phenomenal growth. 82% of American households now own at least one internet connected TV device. Today, the internet connected TV, the CTV device ownership has exceeded cable TV ownership. So for the first time in the American history, we have more connected TV devices than cable TV homes. So it provides a unique opportunity to have a massive reach through FAST in these connected TV. And 60% of these connected TV households stream ad-supported content. So now take this, this is like a perfect storm, right? You have a lot more connected TVs being sold. You have a lot more people watching, ad-supported TV on those connected TV devices, and they're spending a lot more time watching that. Mix all of these, that's a phenomenal growth that is actually happening. Again, going back to our Amagi FAST report, We saw a 98% growth in just 6 months, Jan to June 2021, across total viewership hours across linear channels on connected TV. 98% growth in 6 months. 99% increase in terms of total impressions across FAST platforms. 99% of all impressions came from connected TV compared to other devices like desktop and mobile and such. So CTV is clearly driving substantial viewership and impression growth, and 60% growth in impressions happens across CTV devices. So again, great numbers. Again, I think it still is a sunrise industry, a lot more to go from where we are today. And it's just not a domestic US phenomenon, right? We're starting to see this growth getting replicated in Europe, in Asia, in LATAM, right? We're starting to see players like Pluto and Rakuten and Zumo and Samsung expanding into Europe. Now, some of these have more than a couple of hundred channels in these markets. Rakuten has just launched about 16 new European markets. Samsung launched 9 new European markets just a few months back. We're starting to see tons and tons of more action. Markets like Germany, markets like UK and France are leading the drive in terms of fast adoption within Europe, and the rest of the European markets are really following fast. APAC, we are starting to see a lot more of the connected TV manufacturers, the big CTV manufacturers. Some of you may not know this. That is part of the Xiaomi brand, is now the number 2. I think actually as of last month, they become the number 1 mobile manufacturer globally, right? So mobile set vendor globally. So they've joined the fast bandwagon. They are launching fast. TCL is launching fast. Rakuten TV, LG, Samsung TV Plus. You see a number of these device vendors, connected TV device vendors, which are very popular in APAC and LATAM, launching fast, and that's going to drive a lot of growth in terms of viewership. Again, LATAM, Samsung TV Plus, Zumo, and a whole bunch of players have actually expanded into Mexico and Brazil and are expanding fast. Again, we're seeing dramatic growth in viewership in some of these markets. I mean, in terms of percentage of growth, even exceeding what we're seeing in the US, just in terms of the viewership hours. So this is not a domestic phenomenon, certainly very large in the US, but growing substantially internationally. So what's driving this? Why is there so much growth in terms of fast, right? One, there's a large connected TV audience, right? So we talked about just in terms of number of users, not households. We have more than 200 million plus connected TV users in the US. It's a large audience base, far exceeding what a traditional TV will actually provide you, or exceeding what the traditional TV would provide you. So 1. And 2, in terms from an advertiser perspective, it also brings unique audience that is not available with traditional linear TV. If you look at some of the reports that Roku had presented, almost 83% of some of the audience that are actually watching the Roku channel are not watching linear TV at all. So you're able to get really fresh audience, Gen Z, millennial audience that otherwise are not on linear. You're able to reach them here, build your brand, and from an advertiser perspective, get unique audience reach. 2, overall ad spending is shifting from traditional TV into connected TV. It's a $65 billion spend in the US today in terms of total TV spend, and that's starting to shift as audiences are shifting from traditional TV towards connected TV. We are seeing the ad dollars following them. Estimated connected TV ad spending by 2025 is $27.5 billion in the US, right? So that's massive ad dollars that's chasing connected TV. Now the question is, if there is more viewership, more devices, more ad spending coming in, what's stopping us from leveraging this to really grow the revenues as content owners and content companies? In a couple of more stats before I get into specifics. Based on Amagi fast report that we have actually seen across our audiences, we've seen a 19.69, almost a 20% growth in terms of daily unique viewers from Jan to June. So just from Jan to June, the number of unique viewers, it's just not time spent, viewership hours, just the viewers are growing. 134% growth in terms of daily ad impressions between them. And at this high growth in terms of daily unique viewers, one would have typically seen a fall in average viewing time as more people come in. On the other hand, we are seeing actually even the viewing time spent is growing. So viewers are growing, number of viewers are growing, the time spent viewing is growing, and ad impressions are growing across this. So again, a perfect storm for us to be able to leverage and build a great revenue opportunity. So if I'm a content owner, how should I think about FAST? What should be my strategy in terms of looking at FAST, right? So one, as content owner, traditionally, many content owners, many of our customers have been B2B businesses, right? They've been delivering, syndicating content for theatrical releases. They've been syndicating content to broadcasters for home DVD distribution, or delivering to a Netflix or an Amazon Prime or some of these SWOT services, or just delivering their content into YouTube or Facebook, potentially on social media. Now there is a new opportunity to go direct to consumer using, creating a brand for yourself directly on these FAST platforms. There are two ways that you can actually go direct to consumer, right? One, you can build an app on all of these platforms. You build a dedicated app on Roku, on Samsung, on Apple TV, TV OS, iOS, Android, across all of these platforms. Build the app, spend serious marketing dollars, trying to promote this app on all of these platforms. Support the app across different versions of these, take consumer calls on saying, how do I set this up? How do I run this? And hope that customers download a percentage of those consumers, download the app, install the app, and watch the app. That's a very expensive strategy. The alternative for you is this whole FAST ecosystem, where you don't need to build any app. The app is being built by the FAST aggregators or the FAST platforms. You don't need to spend any marketing dollars. These are being promoted by the FAST platforms. You don't need to support end consumers in terms of taking calls on how to use the app, user experience, all of that, right? That's again taken care of by the FAST platforms. If you don't have ad sales, you don't need to have any sort of ad sales. That again could be taken care of by the FAST platforms or companies like Amagi. So essentially, if you had great content, FAST provides you a very low cost entry point to build a direct-to-consumer brand as a network. You can create a television network, distribute it through these new age FAST platforms, and hopefully, count the cash, right? So if you had a good library of content, right? You had 100 to 10,000 hours or 20,000 hours of content. How do you think about getting into the FAST? First and foremost, look at, hey, do you have unique, interesting content that people want to watch? Do you have a history of content being watched in any format, whether it's on social media, whether it's through a broadcaster, whether it's through theatrical, DVD, direct to home, app, whatever combination. If you had good content, you have the content available in a good to consume format. You have the right format, you have the right metadata that is available to you. Look at that. Some great genres work. We have seen some of the genres that are working very well in FAST include, of course, news, sports, crime works very well, lifestyle content, food, travel works extremely well. We have seen some good entertainment content working well. We have seen, nostalgic shows, 60s, 70s shows that have been on TV before. People want to have, what you'd call as comfort food, right? You just want to, turn on, watch something that you already know what's going to happen, just want to relax and watch, right? That content works extremely well. Some good movie content, if you had some really good movie content, that works well. So if you had, great documentary, background stories, stuff like that, if you had some really good content, I think that's the first step, without a doubt. To plan your programming strategy, right? How are you going to, program this as a 24/7 linear channel? How many hours of wheel? Are you going to have a 4-hour wheel, 6-hour wheel, 8-hour wheel, 24-hour unique programming that's not going to repeat? How often are you going to repeat content? Do you have enough content and enough refresh content through the month to keep the audience engaged and keep coming back for them? Do you have, create enough promos, interesting graphics, make the engagement, as high as possible? Again, companies like Amagi can help you through some of these, working with you to create engaging programming strategy for you. 2, once you have the content strategy available, clear that you have unique, differentiated content that's in high demand, and you have a broad plan for programming, then the second step comes in, hey, talk to the distributors, identify which platforms do I want to target. There are 50+ platforms, right? Which ones do I want to target? There are large platforms that provide, platforms like, Samsung and Roku, which are fairly large in terms of number of, monthly active users, for instance. There are mid-sized platforms, there are smaller platforms. So you decide, hey, which platforms do I want to target? Which is easier for me to get in? Do I want to get lost in a crowd? Do I going to take another year to do a deal? Or can I actually get some low-hanging fruits, get started with mid-sized platforms and then expand into larger platforms? Again, depending on your brand, depending on the content that you have, you can decide to go big, go with the first tier of platforms, tier 1 platforms, and then go down, or you can start with tier 2 and then go up. So talk to these platforms. Again, companies like Amagi can make introductions, can also help you do the distribution deals with some of these platforms. 3, once you've got the platform, you've got your distribution, you've got your content strategy, you've got your programming strategy. Then the job is primarily getting the right technology platform and the delivery platform to be able to create these 24/7 linear channels, program them, and distribute it with ad insertion to these platforms. Again, companies like Amagi is the preferred partner across every single FAST platform out in the US and in most FAST platforms across globally. So work with somebody like an Amagi or Amagi to essentially create a robust channel that gives you options to do the right programming, make it flexible, allow you to change stuff, allow you to have different formats, allow you to create entertaining graphics and other overlays, deliver it to these platforms. Then the third part is ad sales strategy, right? So depending on your deal with these platforms, there are 2 possible options. You can do an inventory share or a revenue share with these platforms. Revenue share is where the platform is selling all the ads for you and sharing back revenues with you. Or you can say, hey, I'm going to do an inventory share. I have an ad sales team internally, or I have an ad sales network that I can actually connect with. So I will take an inventory. I'll give a piece of the inventory to the platform for them to sell, and I'll keep control of my inventory. So you decide what the right strategy is for you. If you're looking at an inventory share, you need to have either an internal ad sales or ad network partnerships. Again, companies like Amagi provide many of these services as well, where you can actually come in and augment or completely run your ad sales for you. So again, decide on what your ad sales strategy is. And finally, get a robust ad insertion technology. It's going to make a huge difference in terms of, hey, how many ad impressions are you making? Are you able to monetize your viewers into ad impressions, into ad dollars? Are you able to increase your CPMs, cost per 1,000 impressions? Are you able to increase your fill rates? So look at the right ad insertion technology. Again, companies like Amagi can provide you some fantastic ad insertion technology to maximize both fill and yield for you. So once you got all of this, you got your content right, you got your distribution right, you got your ad sales right, then it's about getting back the data, right? From all of these, again, companies like Amagi provide a very robust ad analytics platform and an audience analytics platform for you to say, hey, who's watching my channel? Where are they watching? Which platforms are working for me? Which devices are working for me? Which day parts are working for me? Which specific show is working for me? Hey, should I repeat every show 3 times? Should I repeat it once a month? Should I repeat it, once a day? How do I do my programming? What sort of content should I be licensing? Should I have a 8-minute ad break or a 12-minute ad break? Right? So what my ad load should be? How, what promos are working? What promotions are working? I'm able to attract new audience. Is my audience loyal? So again, if you had a good, solid audience and ad analytics platform that can provide you tremendous amount of insight in terms of consumer behavior that can help drive your programming strategy, that can help drive your content strategy and your distribution strategy. Again, key here is, once you have the entire channel up and running and being distributed, you need to consistently look at it and say, hey, what can I improve? How can I, measure and benchmark myself against other competitors in the same genre? How do I increase my viewership share? Right? And that's something that's going to be provided through these ad analytics tools. Unlike the traditional cable linear channels, this is not like a Nielsen where you're getting a statistical model from thousands of people. Here you're getting real-time data from millions of viewers that are actually watching your channel. So it provides you tremendous treasure trove of data in terms of for you to improve your content, improve your distribution, improve your overall strategy. On that note, I thought I'll actually share with you a couple of good industry examples of how some of our customers or other content owners have actually driven. Here's an excellent example. One of our customers, Fremantle, again a very unique, interesting experience here, where they had an over-the-air channel. They still have an great over-the-air channel. It's a Diginet, a .2 channel that's widely distributed across broadcast. It's primarily a pop culture time capsule with 40,000 plus iconic game show episodes from pretty much 60s, 70s, 80s that you actually would have watched, that you're familiar with. So doing very well on the over the air. What Buzzer did was extended that strategy into FAST. Created a channel specifically for FAST, leveraging some of the content, and we've seen tremendous growth for Buzzer, beyond their over the air into FAST. What's interesting is that it's also an interesting dynamic where many millennial Gen Z audience are discovering Buzzer for the first time in FAST, and then using their antenna, watching them on over the air, and vice versa. So it becomes essentially a great flywheel effect, one leading to the other, and hence creating a very positive virtuous cycle. The second good example is Cinedigm. Again, many of you would know Eric Opeka. Cinedigm, fantastic company, achieving tremendous growth. These are from their public numbers that they recently released in their earnings report. They launched their first channel in 2018 on Twitch. Today they have, 2020, December 2020, they had 23 million monthly active users across their FAST channels. They had 16 channels. Again, this is a slightly old data. They've launched some better, great channel. They announced about Real Madrid sports channel. They've announced Elvis Presley. They've announced El Rey, right? So fantastic channels, getting added to the portfolio pretty much on a monthly, if not a fortnightly basis. 900 million viewing minutes just in Q4 2020, right? 79% growth, year on year in Q4 20. Again, fantastic numbers in terms of what you can see, starting from one channel, Con TV on Twitch on one platform, growing across multiple platforms, multiple geographies, growing their viewership and growing revenues. So another excellent example of how FAST is actually driving some of the growth for customers like Cinedigm. This is again another interesting example where Gannett USA Today, they expanded their audience reach, leveraging FAST. Obviously, pretty much all of us know USA Today. It's a flagship publication from Gannett. They expanded, their audience base, launching two channels, USA Today News and USA Today Sports Wire, not just in the US, but actually globally, expanding their audiences and again, building a very strong revenue base and audience base. Again, what's interesting about FAST is that it can actually help not only grow your revenues, leveraging the advertising model that you're doing, but it can also act as a marketing channel for your core SWOT. If you're an SWOT service, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, it can drive audience to your other channels as well. So it creates a positive flywheel effect where it becomes yet another marketing channel, yet another multimedia channel that you actually reach the audience with. What's interesting about this is that it also helps you build a very strong brand and leverages the power of CTV to be able to get this larger, longer audience engagement. I mean, some of our customers, platform customers, where we have seen data is that audience engagement on linear. If you had an app that had only VOD and you added a linear option there, linear is essentially always live option, you would see engagement time, average viewing time going up by almost 80% by just adding that always live, always on option, right? So again, FAST provides a fantastic way to increase audience engagement as well. This is another very, very interesting case that we saw. Sling TV launching sports betting information channel, right? So where on Sling, many of you might have watched this. Built an interesting channel, for working with DraftKings for NBA, for NHL and MLB, providing real-time game scores and betting odds. So you could actually watch, get these betting odds, engaging the sports betting audience through these fast channels. It's completely free. You're coming here, you can actually watch them in real time, place your bets, provides a way for differentiated content on the platform. So pretty much, whether you have, interesting data like this to share, whether you have interesting content, it could be short form clips, on YouTube and Facebook that you're stitching together for an interesting, 24/7 linear channel. You could have long form content, movies, TV shows that have a story to tell. You could have some, very unique insights that you can actually leverage to build, specific content, deep fan audience for a specific, for surfing, for, poker, for, name it, right? For specific deep fan audience. You could, fast services provide you a way to actually get your video, get your content out in front of the audience, market it, provides you dramatic reach and make some serious revenues from this, right? We today, some of our customers earn millions of dollars pretty much from zero over the last year and a half, growing dramatically fast, leveraging this fast strategy. So to summarize, right, the opportunities are evolving. We are very, very early. We are on day 0 of fast, a long way to go. I think, we're just getting started. Already provides some massive reach, both domestic as well as international, provides you a new revenue opportunity beyond your SWOT, beyond your syndication, beyond your social media, for you to leverage the CTV audiences. And by leveraging fast, you can actually build a much larger content strategy, hopefully, increasing revenues, increasing viewership share, and increasing awareness of your brand. That's all I had. Thank you so much. Would love to, answer any questions that you might have.
Oh, there's my video. It happens to be in the wrong direction right now. That was odd. I'll turn that off for a second. Thank you so much, Srini. That's a lot to take in, and an amazing amount of growth, first of all, that we're seeing in fast. One question I have for you is, here's a softball. How can I get the Amagi fast report?
Oh, thank you for asking that question. It is available on our website for you to download for free.
All right,
you can go
fantastic.
to www.amagi.com and you should be able to find the Amagi fast report.
Yeah, so if folks have questions, we have a few minutes for them. It's astonishing the amount of growth. I think that also it's eventually I can see it being just as confusing or overwhelming for consumers to find content on a fast channel, right? I mean, wow, now it's sort of reasonable. I go out to Pluto, and of course I go to my my guilty pleasure, the Love Boat, and I love the ones with Charo on them, and I just kind of lean back and enjoy that. But I can see over a very short period of time, it could get really confusing, and with exclusive content being available on some networks and not on others, and then thousands of channels. How is curation a possibility? Could I have a channel Like, what if they're right? Could I have a network that would program specifically for me in a dynamic way based on the things? So instead of seeing thousands of channels, I just see, 10. Here is Welcome Back, Kotter, Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, all of the really sophisticated television shows that I like to watch. Is that something that's happening now?
The fantastic question, Eric. I think we are getting there. There are quite a few platforms that we are working actively where people are experimenting with newer ways of presenting the content, right? This could be, as you're saying, right, personalized linear channels delivered to you, but also potentially like Spotify-like playlists, where there could be experts that could be curating content for you and say, hey, I want to watch the best of poker, right? And that could be third parties that could be creating those playlists or linear channels for you. So people are experimenting with different things, and I think it's going to evolve. The user experience and discovery experience is going to be a very critical part of how fast evolve and and how the growth is going to happen.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we've seen this before with platforms that are emerging. This wild west sort of environment that we are continually in. It seems, just when we think, all right, now we've got the West's tamed, and we know how to do this TVOD thing. Something else comes along. From an operational standpoint, let's say I'm up and running on my AVOD content, and I'm getting my content out on subscription services, and now I want to go do some fast distribution as well. Are there operational concerns that are different with fast than with AVOD? It's still ad supported. Are there things that I have to think about to prepare my content to be distributed over fast?
No, I think the biggest difference, if at all, from a content perspective, is to have a programming resource that can actually, overall broader programming strategy and be able to program it from a content perspective. And two, from an SVOD, if you're already an SVOD service, you need to have a windowing or some sort of a plan so that it does not cannibalize your SVOD strategy.
Absolutely. And I may have
hey, what am I going to put on SVOD? Yeah, exactly. What sort of exclusives am I going to have on SVOD versus what am I going to put on fast? Mm-hmm. I think those are some of the considerations you do. But from a platform creation and delivery, we have had customers that have, where we have been able to take their content and create the fast channel, distribute it, and start making money in less than 2 weeks.
Wow,
right? So
that's incredible.
It's fairly straightforward.
Yeah. So, I guess if you're already working with an ad network like Amagi, and you have your ad breaks kind of programmed, and you've got a lot of your content already, already set up to be distributed, then it's, it's much more, it makes sense that it would be pretty easy operationally. Hey, we have a question real quick. We've got a couple more minutes from Josh Levin. You mentioned, Srini, that there's a fast market for documentaries. I love documentaries in addition to television from the 70s. What channels and platforms do you see documentary consumption on, if you do?
So certainly documentary is one of the biggest genres that have actually worked that I see across. They are, I would say, certainly among the top 10 in terms of the genres that have actually worked. We have quite a few documentary customers, whether it's, folks like Turn Inside TV. We have, documentaries, on different types of content as well, right? We have exploration, sci-fi, science documentaries. We have historical and such. So a whole bunch of different genres within the documentary. We have seen platforms like Pluto, Samsung, and Roku working very well with some of the documentary specific content. And again, there are specific markets. Again, we have seen UK doing very well on documentaries. So again, both the geographies as well as specific platforms do well. Again, ultimately, if you go to the Roku channel, you should see somewhere like, at least 10 to 15 channels that are documentary specific. So if you're looking to create a new documentary channel, you need to figure out, hey, what's my new angle? What's going to be different that I'm going to provide?
Yeah. So there's specific channels dedicated to documentaries. Interesting.
Yes, absolutely.
You could have documentaries.
A specific genre within the documentary as well, saying, hey, I'm going to do only science related.
Right. Yeah.
Documentaries.
Well, we could. I would love to spend more time talking with you and other folks from Amagi about this. It's really it's important for our business and super interesting. Thanks so much, Srini. We are unfortunately at time. We're going to have to move along, let everybody move along with the rest of their days. But I want to remind everybody that we will be seeing many of you, hopefully, next week on Wednesday and Thursday at the OTT.X Wednesday webinar, our Wednesday, the OTT.X Summit in fabulous Los Angeles at the Squareball Cultural Center. So again, I want to thank Amagi and Srini for that incredibly valuable and thought-provoking presentation. Thanks to all of you for attending this edition of the OTT.X Wednesday webinar series. And always, session was recorded and will be available on the OTT.X website at OTT.X.org. So go check it out there. There's also a whole lot of other valuable videos and presentations from all of our online events over the last year plus. Again, I want to remind everyone about our upcoming summit on September 1st and 2nd. That's next Wednesday and Thursday. We're excited to be hosting our first in-person conference since 2019. It's going to be outside entirely for all components, and we're adding extra precautions for safety in light of COVID. Then on November 18th, we're going to be once again in New York City for our always popular OTT.X roundtable discussion groups. And it's an opportunity to gather with peers from across the industry, share ideas, learnings, challenges, and best practices about the business and technology of OTT streaming. Who knows, maybe we'll have a fast discussion group. On December 8th, we'll be hosting, once again in person, our annual OTT.X Pipeline event and the second annual OTT.X Impact Awards to recognize it. Content distributed over the top that inspires positive action and promotes acceptance of and equality for all people. Speaking of which, I want to remind everybody that that our submissions are open for the Impact Awards, and I want to encourage you all to submit your content for consideration. You can find out more about all of these events and programs at OTT.X.org. So head out there right now. In fact, I'll paste that into the chat window right now for everyone. So you can jump out to our website at this very back minute and find out more. So with that, I'll conclude our webinar for today. Thank everyone. And once again, thank you, Srini, for joining us. Terrific talk.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Eric. Thanks for the opportunity. And all of you have a wonderful day ahead. Take care.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye.